office out of this room. I've moved all my tools in here. The carpet does need cleaning. This bathroom is all completely cleaned out, and I repaired the plumbing back there, which was a solid pipe instead of a flexible pipe, and that's not supposed to be the way. Then my tile, which used to be that black stuff over there, gotten a good start on tiling this end over here. Got under the refrigerator, got under the stove, made it all the way into the back of the trash area. This was the area that was in question. The dishwasher used to be right there, but the floor right there is kind of lumpy. It's been wet, and I didn't realize that it was getting wet because, of course, it had vinyl tile over it before. And so I'm going to unfortunately have to peel up a few layers. These boxes are on a seam that is uneven, so right here on this seam between those two tiles, it keeps popping up because this board is has been moist for a while, which is why the dishwasher isn't in here anymore. I took it out, put it on the side of the street out there. That's not mold, it's it's damp in there, and there's a lot of dark glue on the floor from the tiles I pulled out. I do have my fan right there blowing on it since I peeled up those tiles last night. I had a vinyl sheet right in front of the sink, and I assumed that vinyl sheet was there because they just couldn't replace the old tiles, but I'm kind of thinking it might have been that the tiles came up because the leak in the bottom of the dishwasher. And I'm going to look at those hoses and make sure that the feeding hose, the pressurized feed hose to the dishwasher, has like 4 links to get from the water pipe over here all the way to the dishwasher edge, which was way over in this corner. And so with like a link here and a link here and a link here and then a tube that ran up and plugged in, there's plenty of places for it to leak from that. But I actually think it was probably coming out of the bottom of the plastic dishwasher. So what I'm going to probably end up doing is peeling up a couple of these layers of tiles up to where these tiles are right here. I'll take out 3 lines. Maybe I'll be able to get some glue and reuse those tiles, just glue them down manually, because they'll peel up a little bit of the particles like this one. The little spots you see are the tiny bits of floor that came up when I peeled these 2 off of that spot right there. But what I'm going to need to do is take back 3 layers here, or 3 rows, and then remove. You can see right here, this is a corner, and it runs this way, and then when it gets over here, it runs across that direction, and it actually matches right up with the edge of the wall right over there. So you can see the line right across there. So it's not a full sheet, it's only it's probably 6 foot by 3 foot. Well, let's see, 1, 2, no, it's 4 foot. So yeah, it's 2 feet shy of being a full sheet long, but it's a full sheet wide. So the question will be is, I'm going to go a little farther because this is pretty rough right here, and this is the next seam, or the next seam line right here. And so I'm going to go ahead and take it all the way to the edge over here, and I'm going to take it all the way to this edge right here, and probably cut right along here. I can see a nail right there, and so I think there's probably a cross beam underneath here. But try to replace this entire lumpy piece here all the way up to the edge of the cabinets in there, and then put new tile on the new piece of wood. it's going to cost me 1 box of tile, or I'm going to have to buy some glue so that I can re-glue these onto the new piece and seal it down. I think I'm going to end up just, well, I just carried the dishwasher. It was pretty light, plastic dishwasher. I just carried it out and threw it on the side of the road. It's probably not even there anymore because the salvage people that live in the neighborhood, the people that run around doing salvage, they tend to pick that stuff up pretty fast. Although that one was, like I said, all plastic, so it doesn't seem like it'd be all that valuable to me, but you never know. Anyway, that's my newest project right now, is to replace this sheet of plywood right in front of the sink so that I can get a new dishwasher and complete my tiling. I stopped at this line because I'd rather catch up across here and then continue on to the other end. Then just continue on and hope that I don't mismatch when I try to fill this area in. It'd be terrible to get up to this line where I like to just go around this, and then when I come back have to cut tile to get one to fit into here because everything had shifted micro amounts. But yep, lots of fun. That is the next thing. And the boat owner, the guy who actually has the title to the boat, is freaking out in San Francisco. He has the title, got it back from California, and wants to be sure that I transfer the title to my name immediately, and therefore will only hand the title to me in person. He won't mail it to me, which means that it's not getting transferred to my name at the moment. It's sitting in limbo. He's all annoyed because he wants me to fly out there for a 5-minute meeting, which would be $600 round trip, just so that I could go talk to that guy. And so there's me, by the way. So I'm kind of up in the air as to what to do. I don't know if I should just oh, and by the way, hat hair and bed head. It's only 8:20 in the morning, and I've been awake for about an hour and a half staring at that floor trying to figure out what to do about it. And I don't typically shower if I'm about to start tearing apart wet flooring. I'll do that after I'm done messing with that nasty wet flooring. But basically, I'm trying to figure out if I can find a lawyer or a titling service or some company that, some lawyer law office that happens to be both in San Francisco and Denver, so that he'd be comfortable dropping the title off. They could mail it over here, I could sign it, they would make a copy and give it to him, and he would feel like he was out of it because there were plenty of witnesses or something along those lines. I have to come up with some way without spending $500 to fly out there, sign my name to a piece of paper he'll hand to me, and then I can fly home. That doesn't seem like it's worth that kind of money. To me, he should just sign the title, put my name on it, and send it to me certified mail, and we'd be done with it, because as soon as I got it, I would register it in my name. It would prove that it was out of his name, and we'll see how that goes too. But it's been a stressful week, and most of the stress is the boat, not the floor. Floor's not a big deal. I've done plenty of floors in my life. So anyway, that's my current update. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Just turned out that was an underlayment. It's a 1/4 inch thick. So I cut up all the underlayment, pulled out the 5 million little screws holding it all down. Found that there was this real ugly original vinyl tile underneath it, and I'm not going to peel the whole entire room up. It's just too huge. So, like I said, I peeled up 3 rows, and I replaced all that wood underneath. The only thing I could find that was a 1/4 inch cost $16 a sheet at 4 foot by 4 foot, which is kind of lame, but what can you do? So now I'm relaying the tile down, and there was a little bit of mold under that dishwasher. It was just, was, like I said, underlayment, so it didn't really matter that much. Anyway, there's the halfway point. Show you some more later. So it's been a few days. I finished off that tile. I flew to San Francisco. I got the title transferred. I basically got robbed. Gluing this tile down worked out wonderfully. I made it all the way across this area. Got around that vent. By the way, when I pulled up that underlayment, I found another vent right there. Or that overlayment, I guess it technically is. And I decided to just put the overlay back over it because really this is almost the center of the mobile home. And the problem is getting heat up to the ends. The furnace is in the middle. Too many vents in the middle. I've got them shut off in the bedrooms, to resolve that. But I had 8 boxes. This wasn't the cheap stuff. You could technically gap these and grout them, make it look like it's real stone supposedly. And I could have probably even saved money by doing that because it would have taken more space to get to the other end of the room. But otherwise it went very well. We got all the way across here. I moved stuff around, but unfortunately I didn't have enough to do that spot or this corner right here. See, there's technically goes to right there, but can't get into there. And you can see that darker edge. It didn't have tile on it before. I never even noticed. 10 years here and I never noticed that corner didn't have tile in it. But for the most part it is a done deal. Looks a lot better. It's a lot nicer to have the floor actually match all the way across. It's a lot brighter in here. I had a friend come over or 2 friends come over, and they agreed that it looked a lot nicer in there than it has the whole time. I came out yesterday when it was gorgeous out here. It was like 65 degrees, and I turned the compost heap from this side back over to this side and threw this trash bag back over it. We'll have to see how it goes on keeping up. You can see Scuff thinks it smells very interesting in there, all that composty smell. I weed whacked this entire area, pulled all these pine cones out from back in that corner, and I want this because it's January, March. It's May. Is that right? January, February, March. Yes, it's May. Today is May 11th, and it's basically just a couple. Within the next couple of weeks, it'll be time to plant your garden. Go out and buy your plants and start getting them ready. So I weeded this, and I didn't just pull the weeds. I dug it up and took every root with every weed. This is 3rd year of these Imperial Star artichokes that I bought last year, and boy do I wish I was going to be here in 85 days for those. My lord, they were the most tasty artichokes I've ever had, and the plant is 3 times the size this year than it was at the same time last year. But as you can see, got all the weeds out of this. Those rocks are great for making little spider spots in the corners. You lay them up so the spiders have a place to hide. See that weed poking out in the back? I was thinking about trying to find a way to pull that out, but never got around to it. I had zucchinis in here. It was full of thistly milkweed yesterday, and I dug all those up. I weed-eated and mowed this. These are my Quinault strawberries, and as you can see, they're already growing strawberries down in there. This one too. And talk about hardy suckers. Here's where my giant accordion tomato was last year, and my 4 Anaheims, and let me tell you, they were productive. I sure wish I was going to be here for those. This is where my lousy tomato was, and those were a survivor flower. Somehow made it through the winter. We'll see how the rest of the thing goes. Well, somebody will see how the rest of it goes. 2 more Quinault strawberries. Again, already growing strawberries in there. So the garden is in essence ready for the next guy, but it's not quite time yet. The weeds are kicking and the grass is kicking. Everything's getting going for spring, but in all reality, there could be a foot of snow on the ground by the end of today. So if I'd have planted last week, or if somebody were to plant in that garden last week, it would probably have proven a waste of money today, just because it would have most likely frozen those plants to death. Come on, Hosh. But progress is being made. I really thought this was going to go a lot faster, but when I moved last time 10 years ago, that when I moved in here, I was able to pack everything I had into a Subaru wagon, and I think it took me 3 loads. I hauled my couch on the roof on one load, 2 couches on the roof on one load, and then I hauled that kitty condo right there on the roof on another load. And then I had a very weird load that had a bunch of stuff strapped on it. It was all very stable, but I actually got pulled over because the cop couldn't believe it, the strange shape of it could possibly be safe, and it was fine. He shook the whole car, grabbing the most precarious thing, and decided I was fine and let me go. But we'll see how the update goes from this point. You're pretty much looking at everything that I have left here. The 2 boxes are going to go to my mother's storage. The fan will go with me. This stuff over here, other than the cabinet itself, is stuff that I have. It is probably going to end up going to the boat with me. And I've got my computer to sell, and haven't been able to even pretty much give away that dartboard. I'm most likely going to take it over and give it to like Goodwill, those 2 dartboards. So this is my iPad, trying to videotape. It's kind of weird. You have to look at the little dot way over at the side if I want it to look like I'm looking at you. But I finally figured out how to download my iPad onto YouTube. So we're gonna see if we can attach this to the other video that's currently like 95% processed, and explain to you why I pulled the tank out of the truck and something else. Oh yeah, okay. So anyway, the windshield washer fluid tank, I was told had a leak, and so when I bought the truck, the front was crushed in, the hood was rolled up, the bumpers mashed in, and it's basically, it didn't do any damage to the frame, which is why I bought the truck anyway. But it pushed all the little brackets that hold the bumper in the right place. They all got a little twisted. So I thought I could probably replace most of it from junkyards, but it's a 2000 GMC Sierra, and they consider those premium parts from 2000 because they made that same body style up until 2006. They just changed little details like the grill and that kind of thing. So I bought a new grill off of Craigslist, and I bought new headlights off of Craigslist and new blinkers off of Craigslist. But the plastic, they're that kind of plastic that won't hold glue at all, kind of fibrous looking. They were smashed up, so I had to zip tie things together to hold the grill in place. And while I was pulling out the reservoir, I also had new brackets, so I pulled the grill off and the headlights off and the blinkers and all that stuff off, and put the new brackets in, and then attached all that stuff on. So I always saw people going the other way looking at my hood, and I think it's because it would kind of flap in the breeze when I was doing 50 or 60, and it's very solid now. It doesn't do that anymore. At the same time, I pulled the battery out and the battery tray out, and I dropped the windshield washer reservoir out, which I bought a new one, and the tank is fine. The one they sent me, ironically, is not correct. It's the sensor hole is the wrong size. So I pulled the tank out, and the tank was fine, but the pump and the tube that feeds the lines, it was basically demolished. So I have to buy a new pump. So I put it all back together without the tank in there. I'm used to not having a windshield washer. I just carry a spray bottle at the moment. But I really want that back. I haven't had a windshield washer in a car for like 10 years. So the other thing was, when I was in San Francisco, I met a lady who told me that when you look at your rigging from the bottom, you're looking up your standing rigging, the cables. You should look to see if you can see any like a barbershop effect, barbershop pole effect, where it looks kind of like it spirals up. And unfortunately, I did see a little bit of that when I went back to the boat. It's not real bad. It's like a few strands on the outer layer are a slightly different tinge of gray, but I'm still going to have a rigger out. It's possible that because it's such oversized rigging that I might be able to go a couple of years without it or something, but it's not exactly the greatest sign. Trying to compensate for your reversals.
Yeah, well, you're the one that's dyslexic, not me here.
Yes, that's it.